Welcome to Count Stackula on YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning into another one of my videos. Today, y'all, we are doing some technical analysis on silver and gold. So let's dive in. All right, so I am by no means an expert when it comes to technical analysis, but let's take a look at the silver first. All right, so right now we have a little colorful indicator that is just some, spectral probability cones of the price of silver, and it's pretty self-explanatory that basically, hey, we're probably going to be in the green, which is the most probable outcome for the price of silver. So if that's all you take from this video, it's a pretty decent outlook, and basically it's saying that by August sometime we could be seeing as low as 20 or as high as 30. And here's where it currently stands at 23.11. So you be the judge. But let's go take a look at some other indicators that I occasionally look at to get some information. All right, so the first one is the Bollinger Bands, and this is basically market volatility, and you have a little moving average in the middle. It can show you kind of, support and resistance as well. As you can see that it often kind of bounces off the top and bounces off the bottom. But we're right in the middle right now, so I guess it's fair value. All right. Without going into too much detail and jibber jabber, let's go on to the next indicator, and that would be Fibonacci extensions. Give it a minute to load, and here we are. So as you can see, we did bounce off a 26 extension here rather recently, and we are now actually in between this $22.90 and $24 extension. Again, looking at the ones that are closest to the actual price that it's at, those are going to be your most probable next potential price targets for silver. We use the Fibonacci extension to basically find, support and resistance, and as well as entry and exit targets. So, right here, I think getting to the high 22s is definitely in the cards. We've already been there. We've already touched it. So we might even be bouncing off of it, whether we reverse and head back up or continue to slide below. The next level would be 21.71. The next level above would be around 24. So, we'll see where we go from there. Let's move on to another revealing indicator that I like to use. This one is probably one of the coolest ones, although it probably looks like gobbledygook to most of you. And I kind of am with you on that, but basically this is the Ichimoku cloud. And the Ichimoku cloud, the way it works is that if the price is above the cloud, that indicates a bullish trend. If the price is below the cloud, that indicates a bearish trend. And we are currently above the cloud, so we are currently experiencing somewhat of a bullish trend. Even though we are experiencing a downturn, I like the Ichimoku cloud because it works on a little bit of a longer term type of market trend analysis. And yeah, that's what it's good for. It's basically really good for picking out what the trend is. And, a general rule of thumb is that if you are above the cloud, go long. If you're below the cloud, go short. And if you're in the cloud, that's a hard pass. Don't play. All right? So to keep things simple, that's where we are with the Ichimoku cloud. What else can we take a look at? that we haven't already seen that care about maybe just the general support and resistance. We don't have that on this. Let's look at some moving averages. 3 moving averages. These are generally pretty important, again, to look at whether we're above or below the moving averages. That also determines a lot of the general market trends. And as you can see, we have been above a lot of the market averages. One could say overvalued here for in the short term. Eventually, like everything, it will revision to mean, and that's what we're seeing right now, the revision to mean. And while the cooling off period that we're experiencing with silver from these highs here, where everybody was kind of, excited about the price of gold and silver, that's generally what we were experiencing. The market euphoria also can be seen here with the Google Trends that I have here, the blue line being gold, the silver being orange, and then I also threw in AI because it's kind of right there in the middle. I was actually surprised to see that gold was more trending than AI, believe it or not. So that is somewhat of an indicator here. And this is for the month of May. This is the last 3 days, actually. So we're not getting a really great perspective on the length. But let's go ahead and expand that to the last 90 days and see what we get. So in the last 90 days, gold has remained consistently strong, pretty stable, and it's actually been coming down slightly. But AI had a huge pump in April of 2023, April 21st. It's actually been coming down lately, but silver also pretty steady, very steady. I'm surprised we didn't see an uptick in silver recently when gold was, pumping hard. I'm surprised we're not seeing it peak real hard either in the last 90 days. But as you can see, gold is definitely above silver and AI. So fascinating information. Let's go ahead and take a look at gold and some of the indicators that we looked at for silver. Here we also have the moving averages. All right, so what can we derive from gold? Well, I think the chart obviously looks a little bit better than silver right off the bat. It's just a little bit more solid, a little bit more strength in gold, as we can see that this general uptrend has been pretty strong, and it moved above those moving averages in November of 2022. And it's consistently stayed above, and it bounced off of them in early or late February. Here we are remaining solidly above them, all the moving averages, and still close to that $2,000 mark. So I'd say we're just looking pretty strong for gold when looking at those moving averages. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Bollinger Bands. So again, we've got the revision to the mean after the local high here. And worst case scenario, we could see it back at 1,800. I don't think it's going to happen because that would mean, it going below and staying below the moving average, but anything is possible. Nothing goes up forever. So, but if it did, then I would say you're looking at a longer term downtrend, because usually whenever it crosses the moving average and closes below, that generally indicates that, you're going to be under there for a while. All right, let's take a look at the next indicator in gold, Fibonacci extensions. So similar to silver, we're close to the, the mean. And so the next closest lines are 1976 and 1879. So basically $100 spread. Above that would be 2004. Above that, the next target, 2053. Above that, we have 2088, which it almost made it to. But you can basically say it definitely hit some resistance there. That's going to be a tough area for gold to get past. As you can see, it doesn't go there very often. And when it does, it gets shut down fairly consistently. So we're going to need to see it bounce off of that a few times before it really breaks through. Just my opinion. But it looks like there is some strength here at 1950, the area here, there. All right, so let's take a look at another indicator. So in the Ichimoku cloud, we're well above the cloud, which is great. And, the trend is basically your friend. It's basically saying go long, similar to silver. Basically, you look at one, it's going to say this more or less the same thing because they trade in tandem, but usually gold being the more the leader among the two. So we probably should have looked at it first, but who cares? We're flying off the cuff here. And maybe one more bonus indicator would be, I guess, the MACD. You know what I like to look at, actually? Type of candle, Heikin-Ashi, okay? The Heikin-Ashi candles is another way of looking at the chart. Kind of removes a lot of the, kind of smooths out the chart, actually, and it looks at trends. It helps you kind of get the overall market trend. And so right now, the at least the short-term trend is downward, as we're seeing, but what you can tell is that these pullbacks that we're experiencing are not nearly as strong as the rallies. So these rips are much more stronger, like at least 2 times as strong as the dips. So we are in a bull market. Will it continue? Nobody knows, but that's what we're observing right now. And so in the last dip, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles, okay, and these represents, I think, weeks, okay, basically 5 weeks. And in this dip ski, we have 1, 2, and 3 weeks. So maybe if anything, if the past is any indicator, we could potentially see a few more weeks of downward action before a reversal. Although, if you look at the strength of how many weeks we were rallying, this last rally was obviously not quite as strong and not quite as long as the previous rally. So we could be reaching kind of the end of this short-term rally and then maybe a softer move back up. I don't know. So it's all potential. But yeah, I like the Heikin-Ashi candlestick chart. It's very interesting to get our overall market trend. We'll just take a quick look at silver, Heikin-Ashi, and see there what we can see. More or less the same, But yeah, so that is the technical analysis for silver and gold this week. We also looked at the trends and we kind of compared it with AI, and I think that's pretty interesting. Some useful information. Again, here as we head into the summer months, it may not be as volatile or as exciting as the last few months that we saw, or the beginning of the year, but could we see some ups and downs? Yes. I just think that overall, if we're going to make any kind of predictions for the future, I would probably say it's definitely going to stay within the green of the probability cones, and that would be, again, about 28 on the high and about 2050 on the low. So, somewhere between there. I think it would be pretty cool if we made it up there. Unlikely, but anything is possible. So that is going to do it for us today, y'all. I want to thank you so much for checking out another one of my videos, and I like to mix it up for you every once in a while, give you some more information that helps you put together a general perspective of the market. You're probably checking out some other cool stacker channels. Definitely saw some great content recently on Treasure Town. If you haven't seen that interview that Chris did with one of the numismatic chiefs over at AppMax, and you can get some interesting insights into the bullion business watching that video. I definitely recommend it. And keep tuning in. Check out the links in the description if you're interested in any 3D printed boxes to store your silver and gold safely. More silver and gold content coming along in the future. I've got big plans for producing my own bullion, so stay tuned for that. Might be a couple more months before we get to it, but man, it's going to be exciting. I'm thinking I might even start a Patreon, offer subscription plans, Silver of the Month Club, y'all, something like that. It's going to be crazy cool, and I definitely want you to stay tuned and check it out. So that's going to do it for us today, guys. This is Count Stackula. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.